Analytics for multivariate data. Part 1, an overview. So when we have multiple columns of data for some entities, we have multivariate data. Now we can have any combination of quantitative and qualitative columns of data. We will consider the following cases: some quantitative, some qualitative, all quantitative, and all qualitative. So what kinds of analytics can we perform when we have some quantitative and some qualitative variables? We can perform univariate analytics on each column independently, but this would not be multivariate analytics. It would be univariate analytics multiple times. We can perform bivariate analytics on each possible pair of columns. So if the pair of columns is both quantitative, we know how to do bivariate analytics for that. If it's both qualitative, we know how to do bivariate analytics for that. If it's one quantitative, one qualitative, we know how to do bivariate analytics for that. But again, this would not be multivariate analytics. It would be bivariate analytics multiple times. So in terms of multivariate analytics, what can we do when we have some quantitative and some qualitative column? We can perform slicing and dicing of each quantitative variable on various qualitative variables using pivot tables or some other tool. We can plot charts based on the pivot tables obtained above. All quantitative variables. What kinds of analytics can we perform when all columns are quantitative in nature? Remember, we perform analytics to tell some meaningful stories, stories that will help us improve our world. So when we have all quantitative variables, we can perform univariate analytics on each column independently, but this would not be multivariate analytics. We can perform bivariate analytics on each possible pair of columns, but this would not be multivariate analytics. In terms of multivariate analytics, we can perform the following. We can do comparisons of variables and tell some stories. We can find relationships between variables and tell some stories. And through these comparisons and relationships that we found, we can tell various stories hidden in the many columns of data. Note, we cannot perform any slicing and dicing of data if all the variables are quantitative, because to do slicing and dicing, we need some qualitative variables. All qualitative. What kinds of analytics are possible? Well, univariate analytics for each column independently, but that would not be multivariate analytics. Bivariate analytics on each possible pair of columns. Again, that would not be multivariate analytics. In terms of multivariate analytics, we cannot do anything if all the variables are qualitative. We need at least one quantitative variable to do any kind of multivariate analytics. So this concludes the lesson on analytics for multivariate data and overview.